Hey guys, what's going on? Dr. Frank here, founder of AddictionMindset Recovery Coaching Programs. And in today's video, I want to answer the question, is vaping bad for you? I want to put this question to rest. And I'm going to challenge you to watch the whole video before you decide to roast me and burn me in the comments, because I think I'm about to make some very valid points in regard to vaping, okay? Now, I want to begin with telling a story, and this story is based on a Joe Rogan clip that I once saw about smoking cigarettes. You can find the link to this below in the description for this video. So I want you to picture the inside of your body as an empty crop field, okay? From the age of a young person to an older person, you're going to develop and you're going to grow things inside this crop field that lives within your body, okay? So let's say someone smokes a cigarette. Let's say someone hits a vape. Every time you're partaking in those activities, you're planting a seed inside this crop field. And the more you repeat those activities, the more fertilizer you're spreading on this seed. Now, here's the scary thing. If you're smoking cigarettes, you're planting a seed. Maybe that seed's in your kidneys. Maybe it's in your lungs. Maybe it's in breast tissue. Maybe it's in your esophagus. And as that seed is continually fertilized through the use of smoking more cigarettes, it may eventually grow into a weed. And that weed might take 20, 30, 40 years to grow. I want to be very clear about something when it comes to cigarette addiction. We did not determine that smoking was bad until about 40 years after the fact. At 20 years, they kind of acknowledged it, but it was very political because of all the money involved. And then it was when people started dying around the age of 40 or developing cancer around the age of 40 that they said, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. So for 40 years, someone was fertilizing that weed within their body. And that weed might eventually turn into something like COPD. It might eventually turn into something like cancer. And then you got to bring in an extermination crew to kill that weed. So that's where the chemotherapy and the radiation therapy comes into play. I want you to view any addiction in the same manner that's non-productive. Every time we do something, we're planting a seed. Whether I'm drinking a Pepsi, whether I'm eating a bag of chips, or hitting a vape product. You're planting little seeds within your body, and it's up to you how often and how frequently you're going to fertilize them. And if you continue to fertilize them, if you continue to use the substance, eventually that seed is going to turn into something. That seed one day might turn into diabetes in the presence of sugar addiction, type 2 diabetes. It might turn into heart disease if you're eating too many starches and too many healthy fats. We're constantly planting seeds. Some of these seeds are going to turn into vicious weeds, and they're going to cost us a lot, but not right away, because it takes time for things to develop. We are still very young in the research when it comes to vaping. And before you say, Dr. Frank, that's not true, we have research out of the UK and other places. I'm going to address that in a moment, okay? So sit tight. Now, you can grow other seeds too. Waking up and going to the gym, taking care of yourself, eating healthy foods, working a job that you love to build a less stressful life for yourself in the future. You're planting seeds, and those seeds might grow into beautiful flowers or a beautiful crop that's going to benefit you later on in life. But the actions you take now aren't going to affect you immediately. That's why so many people contact me and say, Dr. Frank, I feel great. I drink, I smoke every night. You're just beta. You're just weak-minded. I felt great too until those seeds turned into vicious weeds. And then there I was going to meet a bunch of different exterminators, different doctors, different therapists, different people trying to help calm these weeds down before they destroyed me mentally and physically, before they destroyed the beautiful crop field that I was given from a young age. I hope you're getting this. I hope this is making sense. This is probably the most serious video I'll ever make on this channel, especially when it comes to talking about the health stuff, okay? So understand that your actions now impact your life later on. Now, for those of you saying, Dr. Frank, we have tons of research on vapes. I want you to think about this. Juul, which is one of the most researched ones, they own their own research company. They're also owned by Big Tobacco, so they're under a microscope, was currently suing 30 different Chinese companies for counterfeit Juuls being sold here in the U.S. in vape shops and gas stations. Okay, so to say, I smoke Juul, I'm good. Do you? Are you really getting a reliable product, or is it a counterfeit? Now, that's just one of thousands of vape devices on the market. Yes, we might have research on vapes and on some of the ingredients, but do we have research on the Rick and Morty vape that you bought from the gas station, from the shady-looking disposable that you got from the unregistered or really not too reputable vape shop? No, it hasn't been around for 20 to 30 years. No one's been smoking it for that long. So to say, oh, we know that vaping is safe, that's a blanket statement. When we study drugs and pharmacology, they go through trials, phase 1, 2, 3, 4, clinical trials. People are given a placebo and people are given the same drug over and over again. And that is studied along the period of time. People aren't taking the same vape over and over again. Chances are you have 3 or 4 different vape devices. So to make a blanket statement about vaping that it's all dangerous or that it's all okay is very, very wrong, especially with the variety of things out there, because we don't know. There's never been a study done on a 16, 17-year-old male who vaped from the age of 16 to 50, and chances are he was using multiple different products along the way. So how would we even begin to gather that information? We're not going to learn the consequences of this stuff until that crop turns into something, or it doesn't. Maybe that person is fine. Okay? And I'm not saying that I hate vaping. I do think it's a phenomenal form of harm reduction for people. I do think it can have tremendous benefits from people who switched from smoking cigarettes to vaping. But there's a lot of people out there who don't want to live with this addiction for the rest of their life. And that is the point of addiction mindset recovery coaching programs. We are not a harm reduction program. If that's what we were, I would be making different content. I would be making different videos. We are a program that helps people get sober, stay sober, and have the best recovery process possible from nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and pornography. That's what we're about. And there's a lot of people who are not enjoying themselves being high on nicotine from a vape device all day long. That's who we're here to help. The worst side effect, in my opinion, is the addiction. Having to remain addicted to something that you no longer want to be doing anymore is the most draining, demoralizing feeling that will ever exist. The side effects of addiction, the financial consequences, the consequences on your health, physically and mentally, the consequences on your relationships, the consequences on how it devalues how you use your time. That is the worst part of vaping. That is the worst part of any addiction. I don't care what addiction it is. That's what I'm concerned with. So at the end of the day, I don't know what Joe's going to look like who's 17 now, who continues to vape until the age of 40. No one knows. No one knows. All I know is this. It's not something that I want to be a part of. That I know for sure. And hopefully, by watching this video, you make those same conclusions as well. Follow me into the next video where I talk about a timeline for nicotine withdrawal. I'll see you there.